It is that time of year again, and it is the Steam Spring Sale. And with that comes a wonderful selection of delectable sim racing delights to be had at a discounted price. Now, what are we doing today? Now, it can be a little bit tedious to sift through all of that, trying to hunt for your favorite things. So what we're going to do is, at pace, we are going to go through all of the relevant sim racing discounts in this video to get you the information from the website into your brain in the most succinct way possible. Now, a couple of notes, well, maybe one note, is that we're going to be doing this on the UK site. The Steam sale is a global sale, which means, depending on your locale, it'll just be the percentage discount in your local currency. This thing ends on March the 20th, 10 a.m. Pacific time, so there is plenty of time to get yourself a little sim racing treat because, well, you earned it. Let's go. First up is the infamous Automobilista 2. It's just had a fresh update, and it is still one of my favorite simulators. Now, if anybody mentions slidey handling physics in the comments, I'm going to be very, very mad, and I'll say how mad I am in the comments. However, it is on sale for 70% discounts. That's £10.49 in the UK. If you haven't picked this up, this is well worth your time. I think that's a fair price. If you're if you're an Automobilista 2 addict like myself, they have got all of the DLC on offer for very, very, very cheap. You know, you can pick little bits that you want, or you can pick up the whole bundle. It's completely up to you. I'm a huge advocate for this. I've got all of it. I think it's a fantastic simulator. The boys and girls at Razer do an awesome job. And yeah, consider adding this one to your selection. Next up is Assetto Corsa Evo. Now, you may sit in one of two camps as to whether you want to pick this up. Now, it's going to be no secret this sort of limped out the gate a little bit with a load of problems. It is getting better. It is early access. You have to bear that in mind. It's a 20% discount. It's £26.39 here in the UK. If you're not a massive fan, I'd probably sit tight for a little bit and just wait for things to sort of develop a little bit more. I've bought it. I've had a little bit of fun with it. If I'm honest, I haven't picked it up for the past week or so, but you may as well consider it. We're going to go through the other Assetto Corsas next. Here it is, the granddaddy of simulators. It's highly, highly unlikely that if you're watching this, you have not got this. But if for some reason you haven't got it, one, let me know in the comments below. And two, it's cheap as chips. And the modding scene is fantastic. You can do whatever you want in this. Arguably, if my metrics on my YouTube channel are anything to go by, more people are playing this than Assetto Corsa Evo. Now, you can get the base game for £3.87, but I would recommend getting the Ultimate Edition for £13.29. You get a load of cool content with it. You can add whatever you want to it. Get Content Manager. I'll link my Assetto Corsa video on how to get that, and it's a really, really good time. Highly recommended. Get this one if you haven't got it. Next up, Assetto Corsa Competizione. This is a banger. If you like your GT racing and you haven't got this, please get it. It is for you got a number of packages here, right? So it's 70% off, £10.49. That's pretty good. If you don't know you really want to get into this, it's hard to sort of recommend the bundle pack, but I have all of it. I think all the DLC is really, really good. I think it's a solid game. £49 and 30 pence, 52% off with the massive bundle pack. I think that's a pretty good offer. Next. Random honorable mention, not a simulator by any means, but if you like cars, you will probably like this. I had a load of fun playing this. It's called What the Car. They're by an indie developer called Triband. It's just absolute madness where you take a car, as you can see, and just do crazy stuff with it. It's great. It is on offer for 30% off. I highly recommend getting the bundle, which has got What the Golf included as well. I've played that. It's a load of fun. It's £12.88 or £10.84 for the normal version, 30% and 48% off respectively. Really fun. Want a little bit of a break from sim racing? This is your cup of tea. Next up is Le Mans Ultimate. Now, I will be honest, I've only put a limited amount of time into this simulator, so take my recommendation with a pinch of salt. The small time I've spent with it, I have enjoyed it. The discount is not massive. It's only 13%, which brings it down to £25.22 from £29. If you really, really want to give this a go, 13% I think is about as much as I've seen it off for discount. I bought it full price. Worthy of consideration. I know a lot of people in the community are really, really raving about this one, and I need to put in a little bit more time to form a proper opinion. Next. Honorable mention here, I love iRacing. It's probably my most played simulator. Do not get it through Steam. It will be tempted. There is an intro offer on here with 23% off, blah, 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 blah. My understanding is it messes with your resubscribing, etc., something. If you're going to do iRacing, get it direct through the iRacing website. Next. Now, these next two are a little bit off-piste, but if you fancy something a little bit different and you want to cruise the European or American highway, chilling to your favorite podcast, just having a zen experience, then Euro Truck Simulator and American Truck Simulator might be for you. I think these are really, really cool titles, and they can be had really, really cheap in the sale. Go away pop-up. It is for 75% discount, £4.22. I think that's, if you just want to try it, it's like the price of a cup of coffee. You can't complain. Then you've got American Truck Simulator, again, 75% off, £4.22. If you have not experienced the thrill of the open road at 30 miles an hour for several hours at a time, this is your time to do it. Next up is Wreckfest. This is not a traditional simulator, but it's just a load of cars going bang and smashing into each other, and it's a really, really fun time. It is currently 50% off, £13.37. One caveat, Wreckfest 2 is around the corner, so your mileage with this may vary, but it is good fun. Next up is Forza. Now, I'd recommend getting these through the Xbox Game app. You can buy them through the Microsoft Store, or just get Game Pass, and you get a load of other access to other games, and you can just try it out, and if it's not for you, you haven't paid a load of money for it. Forza Motorsport, I think it's all right. I didn't get along with it too well. I think it needed to do a lot. It needed to do a lot more things better. It is 50% off at the moment. So you can have that for $29.99. That's up to you whether you want that one. I did not get along with it too well. However, Forza Horizon 5, this is a blast. Not quite as good as Forza Horizon 4. Again, get it on Game Pass if you haven't got Game Pass, but you can get it on Steam here for £24.99 with a 50% discount. If you're going to get one of the two, Horizon's a much better time in my opinion. It's not a simulator, it's just a good time rocking around in a sunny environment, feeling happy with nice music. So if that's your cup of tea and you want a bit of that, this is for you. Next. If you wish to get into F1 24, now is probably the best time, but please bear in mind F1 25 is on the horizon, so the longevity of this title is limited. Now, a bit of a love-hate with this one. I get it every year, I play it for a bit, I do enjoy it, but then I always go back to either Assetto Corsa or in particular Automobilista 2 for my Formula 1 fix. Now, if you do want this, it's $8.99, probably the cheapest you're ever going to be able to get it, and if you want the Champions Edition, probably not worth it. It's 85% off, $11.99. Pick this up, just the base package, $8.99, F1 24 if you want to give it a blast. The VR in it is average, and it's better in Automobilista 2. So, yeah, get it if you want to. Next, rFactor 2. Now, I have put a fair amount of time into this. It's fairly tricky to set up. The user interface is not the most intuitive, but it has got some really nice force feedback. There's a lot of extra content you've got to buy on top of this, bear it in mind. So 84% discount sounds great, but there's a lot of stuff locked behind a paywall. $3.99, if you just want to give it a go, I think $3.99 is fair. $24.99 full price is a little steep for this, I think. But $3.99 I think is very, very good. So if you just want to add that to your arsenal, have a little bit of a tinker, I think £4, it's not too bad. Next. EA WRC. Now, it's very hard for me to love this game because Codemasters and EA, you lied. You said this thing would have triple support and it still doesn't. So it's hard for me to recommend this because I bought it because I wanted triples and it still doesn't have triples and I don't really play it anymore. £11.99, 70% off. If you wish to support the global enterprise that is Electronic Arts, you can have that for that price. Go play Dirt Rally 2. I think that's really good. We'll talk about that one next. I keep coming back to Dirt Rally 2.0. I still think it holds up. It's a really, really fun time, and you can't really argue for £3.59. I've got the Game of the Year edition. It's 80% off, £6.99. Again, depending on your locale, it's the percentage off in your local currency. I recommend this. If you're going to get a rally game, get Dirt Rally 2 just to wet your whistle. It's still very, very good. It's a ruddy good time. Next. Now, this next one's a personal favourite. BeamNG is a little bit off-piste. It's not a traditional racer, but it's a fantastic sandbox sim racer. It can be had for 20% discount, £15.36. It's well worth a bit of exploration. Have a little look on YouTube for some other videos about it. It's very, very different to what you might be used to. Highly recommended. Lots and lots of fun. Next. And breathe. And there we have it. That is probably the cherry-picked sim racing titles I would recommend. I've only really talked about sim racing titles I own myself, because I think that's the only correct way to do it. I can't really recommend stuff I haven't played or I don't have on my system. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What titles do you think you will be picking up in the sale, if indeed any, and have I missed out any? Let me know in the comments below. If you find this sort of stuff valuable, please consider hitting like and subscribe, and until next time, whenever you choose Trauma Team Racing for more sim racing news and good stuff, take it easy, bye for now.